All right, so you've been digging into rosemary, and wow, your research is amazing. It turns out this herb is way more than just a little something you add to potatoes, for flavor. It's got this long history and some pretty incredible potential benefits. So today we're diving deep on an excerpt from a piece called The Amazing Benefits of Rosemary, a versatile herb for wellness. And let me tell you, the claims are pretty bold.
It's true. Rosemary's been revered for centuries,
Yeah.
not just for cooking, but for potential medicinal properties too. And what's really interesting is that modern science is actually starting to back up some of these ancient beliefs.
Okay, so let's get into it. One of the things that really caught my eye was Rosemary's ability to maybe boost memory and cognitive function. The excerpt mentions these compounds, carnosic acid and rosmarinic acid, and they're antioxidants. But how much can they actually impact our brains?
That's the big question, isn't it? Well, research suggests that these compounds might protect brain cells from damage,
Hmm.
from free radicals, those unstable molecules that can really mess with our cells.
Free radicals.
Yeah, think of them like little wrecking balls bouncing around in your brain. And then these rosemary compounds are like the defenders, intercepting them before they can do too much damage.
So rosemary is not just about preventing future decline. It could actually be helping us think more clearly right now. I remember reading that even just the smell of rosemary can boost concentration.
Exactly. There are studies where people exposed to rosemary aroma did better on memory tasks and alertness tasks. And there might be a scientific reason for that too. Inhaling rosemary could actually increase the activity of a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which is super important for memory and learning.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm already thinking about getting a rosemary diffuser for my next big meeting. But let's be real. Can just smelling rosemary really compare to like a strong cup of coffee?
Probably not a complete replacement for your morning coffee, but think of it as another tool,
No.
to help you think better. And honestly, who wouldn't want their office to smell like an herb garden instead of burnt coffee?
Good point. Okay, moving on to another claim, antioxidants. The excerpt says rosemary is packed with them. I know they're good for us, but can you explain what they do in our bodies and why they're so important? Especially the ones in rosemary.
Absolutely. So we talked about how antioxidants fight free radicals. But let's go a little deeper. Free radicals are a natural byproduct of metabolism, like
Mhm.
exhaust fumes from our cells. They're really reactive and can damage DNA proteins and cell membranes, and all that damage contributes to aging and chronic diseases.
So it's like our bodies are constantly producing these little troublemakers.
Exactly. And that's where antioxidants come in. They act like scavengers, neutralizing those free radicals before they do too much harm.
Hmm.
Now, rosemary has a bunch of different antioxidants, like the carnosic and rosmarinic acids we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
but also flavonoids and phenolic compounds. It's a powerful mix.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we actually get those antioxidants from the rosemary into our bodies? Do we have to eat tons of it?
Well, you could, but there are tastier ways. Adding fresh rosemary to your cooking is a great start. Think roasted vegetables, soups, stews. You can even infuse oils and vinegars with it. And of course, there's rosemary tea, a simple way to enjoy its benefits.
This is making me rethink rosemary. I wonder if just sprinkling some on my food is enough or if I need to be more strategic.
That's a great question. It depends on what you want to achieve. If you just want the flavor and some potential benefits, a sprinkle here and there is great. But if you're thinking about specific things like cognitive function or inflammation, you might want more potent forms of rosemary,
Mm.
like extracts or essential oils.
All right. Now, this next claim really surprised me. The excerpt suggests that rosemary can boost the immune system. Is that even possible? How?
It's pretty fascinating, right?
Huh.
Rosemary has compounds that are antimicrobial, which means they can stop the growth of some bacteria and fungi. Traditionally, rosemary has been used to help with a lot of different ailments, from colds and coughs to problems with digestion.
So it's not a magic cure, but it could maybe give our immune system a little extra help.
Exactly. Remember, rosemary is not a replacement for real medicine, especially for serious infections. But adding it to your diet or using it in aromatherapy might help, especially when your immune system needs a boost.
It seems like rosemary has been used for almost everything throughout history.
You're right. And that long history of use is worth looking into. In fact, rosemary's traditional uses can actually give us some clues about its potential benefits, which we can then look at using modern science.
You've definitely got me curious, so let's talk about that history. What were some of those traditional uses of rosemary, and how do they connect to what we know today?
Well, in ancient Greece, rosemary was believed to strengthen memory. Students would wear rosemary garlands during exams. because they thought it would help them remember things.
That's interesting. It seems like those ancient Greeks were onto something, considering what we know now about rosemary and how it might help our brains.
It is pretty remarkable. And it wasn't just the Greeks. Rosemary has been used in lots of different cultures for its supposed purifying and protective qualities. It was often used in rituals to ward off evil spirits and to promote good health.
Okay, so rosemary has this rich history, and modern science is starting to prove some of those traditional beliefs. What else can this amazing herb do?
Well, believe it or not, rosemary might even help with digestion.
Hold on, rosemary can help with digestion. Tell me more.
So rosemary has this long history of being used to help with digestion,
Mm.
like all sorts of discomforts. It was thought to help with indigestion and bloating and gas and even cramps.
Wow, that's a lot of benefits. But how can rosemary help with all of those different things?
Well, it comes down to a few key things. First, rosemary can stimulate bile production, which is important for breaking down fats and, making digestion easier.
So it's like giving our digestive system a little boost.
Exactly. And
Mm.
second, rosemary actually relaxes the muscles in our digestive tract, which can help with those painful spasms and cramps that you sometimes get with digestive issues.
So, like after I eat a really big meal, could sipping on rosemary tea help with that feeling of being too full and bloated?
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. But a lot of people say that rosemary tea after meals helps them feel better, like it's easier to digest.
Okay, I'm adding digestive soother to the list of rosemary benefits. Now, this next one is almost too good to be true. The excerpt says rosemary might help hair grow and make your scalp healthier. Is there any science behind that, or is it just a myth?
It does sound kind of like a folk tale, but there's some early research that suggests it might be true. Rosemary oil, when you put it on your scalp, is thought to increase blood circulation.
So it brings more blood to the hair follicles,
Mhm.
which could help them grow.
Exactly. And besides that, rosemary's anti-inflammatory properties might help too, making scalp healthier and maybe even reducing dandruff.
I've tried a lot of different hair products over the years, but I've never thought about using rosemary. How do you actually use it for your hair?
The most common way is to dilute a few drops of rosemary oil with a carrier oil,
Hmm.
like coconut oil or jojoba oil, and then you gently massage it into your scalp.
That sounds pretty easy. Would using rosemary oil on your scalp do anything else besides maybe helping your hair grow? Like, would it make your hair shinier or softer?
Hmm, that's a good question. There's no real proof for those specific effects,
Mm-hmm.
but some people say that rosemary oil makes their hair softer and easier to manage. So it's worth trying out and seeing what you notice.
All right, so we've talked about how rosemary might help our brains fight free radicals, boost our immune system, and even soothe our digestion. What can't this herb do?
Well, it's not a miracle cure,
Hmm.
but it does seem to have a lot of potential. And we're not finished yet. Rosemary is also thought to have positive effects on our mood and, our emotional well-being.
Wait, rosemary can affect our mood. This is new to me. Tell me more.
There's more and more research that suggests rosemary's aroma might calm and uplift your nervous system. Some studies have even shown that inhaling rosemary oil can lower cortisol levels. That stress hormone.
So it's not just about smelling nice. Rosemary could actually help us feel more relaxed and balanced.
Exactly. It seems like rosemary might be able to change how our bodies respond to stress.
Sure.
And that helps us feel calm and well.
Now I'm thinking about all those stressful days when I could have used some rosemary aromatherapy.
Hmm.
Are there any other ways to get these mood-boosting benefits besides diffusing the oil?
Absolutely. Putting a few drops of rosemary oil in a warm bath is another great way to relax and de-stress. You can also make your own rosemary body oil or lotion,
Mm.
for a calming and aromatic self-care ritual.
I love that idea. It's like making your own spa at home with the power of rosemary. What about when we have physical pain, like muscle aches or headaches? Can rosemary help with that too?
It's so interesting how the ways rosemary has been used traditionally often match up with what science is finding out now. For centuries, rosemary has been used topically to soothe aches and pains, and we're starting to understand why. It all goes back to those potent anti-inflammatory properties we were talking about earlier.
So those same compounds that might help our brains and fight free radicals can also reduce inflammation and pain.
Exactly. By reducing inflammation, rosemary might be able to ease the discomfort from muscle soreness, arthritis, and even headaches.
No, I'm not saying we should stop using our regular pain relievers and just use rosemary. But it's really interesting to think that there might be other natural options, especially for mild pain.
I agree. It's always a good idea to talk to your doctor if you have pain that doesn't go away or is really bad. But using rosemary alongside your regular routine, whether it's topically in aromatherapy or even in your diet, might give you some extra relief.
I'm starting to see rosemary as this incredibly versatile herb. It's like a natural medicine cabinet all in one plant.
Uh,
What else can this amazing herb do?
We've talked about a lot, but there's one more thing. Rosemary might be good for respiratory health.
Wait, rosemary can help us breathe better. This just keeps getting more interesting.
Rosemary's been used to help with breathing problems for a long time. And now research is showing us why it might actually work. It's got those antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties, and those can help here too.
So rosemary can fight off the stuff that causes respiratory infections. I guess that's where the antimicrobial stuff comes in.
Exactly. And it's not just about fighting infections. The anti-inflammatory part of rosemary can soothe your airways and help clear congestion. You know, when you have a cold and your chest feels tight, it's often because your bronchial tubes are inflamed. Rosemary might be able to help with that.
Okay, but how do you use rosemary to help you breathe better? Is it like drinking tea or diffusing the oils or something totally different?
There are a few ways.
Mm.
Inhaling steam with rosemary oil is a classic way to help with congestion. You can also make a chest rub. You just mix some rosemary oil with a carrier oil, like coconut oil, and rub it on your chest.
Those sound like really good natural remedies, especially when it's cold and flu season. I'm starting to think I need to get a lot more rosemary. But before we finish, I want to think about the big picture. We've talked about so much stuff: improving memory, helping digestion, hair growth, even respiratory health. It's a lot.
It's true. Rosemary seems to be good for almost everything when it comes to health and well-being. And that's what makes it so interesting. It's not just good for one thing. It's got so many potential benefits.
And what's really amazing to me is how easy it is to get rosemary. It's not some rare exotic ingredient. It's literally growing in my backyard.
Exactly. Rosemary shows us how powerful nature is. It gives us simple but effective solutions. And the best part is, you don't have to be a scientist or an expert to use it.
So for someone who's totally inspired to try rosemary, where should they start?
I always tell people to start with what sounds the most fun and easy. If you love cooking, try adding fresh rosemary to your meals. If you like aromatherapy, try diffusing the oil or putting it in your bath. And if you're interested in using it on your skin or hair, make a rosemary-infused oil.
Those are great ideas. And I love that you said it's all about finding what works for you because everyone is different.
Exactly. There's no one right way to use rosemary or any natural remedy. It's all about listening to your body, trying things out, and figuring out what's best for you.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. I always like the taste of rosemary, but I had no idea about all these benefits.
It's amazing how something so common can have so much potential, isn't it?
It really is. And that brings me to the question I want to leave our listeners with today. If something as easy as using rosemary could maybe improve your health in so many ways, wouldn't it be worth trying?
I think so. I would encourage everyone to be curious and open-minded about rosemary. You never know what amazing things you might discover.
Well said. And with that, we want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of rosemary. We hope you learned something new and that you're excited to try out this incredible herb. Until next time, happy exploring.